Hello and welcome to Richards FM Volume 6. My name is Mark Richards and today I shall be taking you through another 12 tracks of not very randomly selected eclectic stuff that I hope you like some of and then explore further, because that's the whole idea, is to introduce you to new music. So 12 songs, I hope you're okay. Let's get cracked on. So this week I've got two cover versions. See, I was only going to put one in, and then I remembered about a new one that came out last week, and I had to have that one, and then I couldn't let go of the first one. So we're having both. So the first cover version, the first song of this week, is from a band called the Bad Shepherds, which you may have heard of. You probably haven't. Adrian Edmondson, who obviously was a duo with Rick Mail, as a comedian, is also a very fine musician into his folk and into his punk. And to that end, he created a band called the Bad Shepherds to record this music. They made 3 albums before sacking it off. The first, Yan Tian Tether and Methera, which I don't know what that means. I'm sure it means something very profound, was brilliant. My friend's wife went to see them and his friends, and they came back and went, "Oh, that's fantastic." So I checked it out. And then they did mostly cover versions, did a couple of originals across the 3 albums, all of which are really good. The track I'm going for off that first album is a cover version of Kraftwerk's The Model. The original is obviously a classic from the 80s. This version just takes it into a fully haunting folk territory. And obviously the first time I heard this, I was driving home from work and the sun was beating in my eyes, and I was driving down the bypass, and it just, when you're driving and you've got a song that hits the spot, that did it. It just felt amazing. It's such a good song, and I still love it now. Say, Bags of Atmosphere, Adrian Edmondson singing is just bang on. Really, really good. Brilliant cover of a brilliant song. If you like that, and not everybody's into folk, and I understand that, but these are really good cover versions that they do. I'd say, as well as their originals. And I think it's worth checking out. There's all sorts of stuff from The Clash in their cover versions of that, to just anything and everything really. Robert Wyatt stuff, all sorts. So check that out. The Model, absolutely brilliant. So the next song is the second cover version that I was looking to put in this week. It's a cover version of Tori Amos's Silent All These Years by Bride, who you may remember from, I think it's my first volume of this, with a song called Ornament. I'm a big fan of hers. And she's released this, I think she's done a conversion of it anyway, but I think it coincided with all the tragic events with Sarah Everett the last week or two. So in sympathy with women who should feel safe wherever the fuck they are, that's what this was about, and that's why I'm putting it in. Obviously, it's a brilliant cover as well. A really good, again, haunting cover with guitars, whereas Tori Amos is more keyboards and pianos, what she was in the first 2 or 3 albums, definitely first couple of albums. This song adds guitars and atmospherics to it. As you can tell, I'm a big fan of atmospherics. So this is what you get. Silent All These Years, absolutely brilliant cover of a brilliant song, for a worthy cause. Definitely worth checking out and listening to. Can't highlight that one enough that I had to go in here this week. So 2 cover versions this week. You can see a theme coming, can't you? So we're going to start another theme as well. You see what I did there? I'm a big fan of 12-inch singles, even when the vinyl was being replaced by CDs in the late 80s, early 90s. And I'd replaced all of my vinyl albums with CDs and thankfully kept the vinyl. That was a good shout. I still bought 12-inch singles. I've never stopped playing, listening to and loving 12-inch vinyl, 12-inch singles. I suppose they're a sort of niche thing. It's like when you go in record shops nowadays to try and find 12-inch singles, you do have to go rooting around, although there are some record shops, if they're still open, that were getting their heads around this and separating them, which is great. Well, it's great for me, anyway. 12-inch singles. The first one I bought, the very first 12-inch I bought, was the 12-inch A New Song by Howard Jones, which I've still got, but I couldn't find on Spotify to put in the playlist, sadly. So instead, I've gone for The Cure. Why Can't I Be You? Brilliant song. I'm not a massive fan of The Cure. I like the singles and stuff. I've got 2 or 3 albums, I think. I've got Disintegration and Wish up there somewhere. Yeah, up there. But this 12-inch, it's just stayed with me forever when I first got it. It's about 8 minutes long, I think, and it doesn't feel like 8 minutes long. Absolutely brilliant introduction to 12 inches. There are, I mean, I've got about 500 of them knocking about. But yeah, this one, try this out, see what you think. I think it's really, really good. A good remix should just, or a good 12-inch version, should just take the song in a completely different direction. Some versions make them unrecognisable from the originals, and sometimes that can work, sometimes it can't. This one sticks to the original but adds just so much more to it, and it's just danceable and it's just epic. And so yeah, that's your first 12-inch in what is going to become a recurring theme of 12-inch singles, because that's the majority of where my vinyl's at, really. So yeah, there you go, The Cure, Why Can't I Be You? Wonderful, wonderful record. Right, what have we got next? Jeff Buckley. Jeff Buckley was a singer-songwriter in the early 90s. He released this album, Grace, of which I've had various iterations. This is the deluxe thing with bonus discs and DVDs. This was one of the finest, most well-received, well-regarded albums of the 90s, of the early mid-90s and so on. Nowadays it's starting to maybe sound a little bit dated, but it's still a really, really good album. I think maybe I'll probably listen to it too much, to be fair. But it is quality. If you're not, this is one that has the version, I think Hallelujah, his version of Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah. Did I get to number 1? It might well have done. I see, not done my research properly there. But anyway, yeah, that's on here. Really, really good album. The bonus tracks are a bit patchy, but the one that I'm going to go for today, the track I'm putting in, is called Forget Her, which was supposed to go on the original album, and didn't, because Jeff, I think, regarded it as being too personal to him, about a breakup and women troubles and stuff. It was far too personal for him, and he didn't want it taking up the whole of the album, which I can understand, because it is a really strong song, and I think it would have swallowed up the whole album, to be fair. And I don't think it would have fitted in with the general atmosphere of the vibe, general atmosphere of the album, even. So yeah, I've put Forget Her on, which is on disc 2 of this, but I think they've added it to the main album. Really, really good song. Like I say, personal and reflective, and slightly angry, but in a rather subdued way. It's just a really, really good song. If you like that, check out the rest of Grace if you haven't before. Like I say, it's not. It's a really good album, but it's more of a reflective and mellow and quietly angry album in places. It's just great. It's just great. Just check Grace out. Check Forget Her out, and do that, and let me know what you think in the comments. Also, be the first to let me know in the comments, because that would just be funny. Yeah, do that. I think that's worth pushing out there if you haven't already heard that. So yeah, Jeff Buckley. The next one is Maximo Park. I don't know a lot about Maximo Park. I don't even know if I've got anything on theirs, to be honest. But they've got a new single out called All of Me, which is from the new album, which came out this year, called Nature Always Wins. I've not listened to it yet. I've got it lined up to listen to, just haven't done yet. So All of Me, I really like it. It's nice, light, and it's upbeat, and it's positive, and I just really like the vibe of it, to be honest. I don't overthink these things. It is just a really, really good song, really light. It's quite poppy, quite indie poppy. Yeah, just a good vibe little song to chuck in the middle of all that morose stuff after Forget Her. But it's quality on its own right. I should check the album out at some point and see what you think of that. Yes, definitely worth checking that out. The next song is by somebody I've never heard of. I went on my Spotify and it says, oh, you might like this. Okay, then whatever. So I checked it out, and it's called Bloomsday by an artist called Samantha Crane. who apparently has had 6 albums out. I've never heard of him, which is great because you're just finding new artists all the time. I love it. It's brilliant. So it's a standalone single. This one came out this year called Bloomsday. I love the guitar intro to it. The drums kick in. It's just a nice. It's like a light driving indie sort of song. It's not pop, but it is indie, summery sort of thing. Yeah, just try it out. It's really good. It's got a good hook. Hook me in properly. Yeah, I think that's worth checking out if you haven't done. And then I've sort of half listened to it. The last album came out last year, which is called A Small Death, apparently. I've listened to a bit of that and it sounds okay. I need to check out the rest of it. But I may have found a new favourite artist, which is just, it's great. See, I'm doing this for myself, let alone use. All good. Right, so the next track is by Sharon Van Etten. It's called 17. The version I put on here is the version she's done with Norah Jones. Just released it last year. The original comes from the album Remind Me Tomorrow, which came out in 2019. I'd never heard of this either, and I was watching Glastonbury on the TV one morning when I was up, and she was on this and she did this song, and it's heads above anything that I heard from the rest of the gig, to be honest. I'm not sure whether I like Sharon Van Etten or not, but this song is really good. The original's really, really good. This version is a lot more subdued, as you would probably expect with Norah Jones. It still has the bones of the song and the hook of the song. Yeah, I'd check that out. It's a good haunt. Again, lots of haunting stuff going on. It's like an episode of Most Haunted. Yeah, so 17 featuring Norah Jones by Sharon Van Etten. Check that out, see what I think. I like it. I like the original as well. I possibly like the original more, but I thought I'd put this one in because it's a bit more recent. Yeah, try that. Good stuff. Next, we've got something even more morose than some of the other stuff I've put in this week. This is by a chap called S.T. Manville. S.T. Manville. He's a solo acoustic singer-songwriter I first heard of. I read a review in a paper once of his album, somebody else's songs, where he'd covered, I think, 10 of other people's songs in his own inimitable style. I was going to stock tracks by Green Day and Lit and different stuff. So yeah, he's really, really good. I love his general stick. The track I'm putting in is called Little Victories, which is a full-on cynical slice of two fingers up at life in a lonely acoustic sort of way. Just trying to find, as the title says, little victories as you try to get through each day, which even at the minute is just, for some people, it's the way you need to go, just to find that little chink of happiness, whether it's just a song that you like or a bird that you see outside, whatever. Just that little bit of happiness, or the little victories where you just leave the bloody washing up until next week. Whatever. That is the sort of general vibe of this song, and I love it. It's from an EP called Little Victories EP, although it was a single in its own right as well. Yeah, if you like that, I really, really like that. Goes straight to my melancholy vibe that I've got going on. So yeah, like that. Little Victories by S.T. Manville. So next we've got something a little bit livelier. We've got Thrice, American post-hardcore band. Had about 9 or 10 albums out. I first heard them with the Alchemy Index, which I bought. I'd heard about a couple of tracks of, and just not really heard anything else about them. So I bought that. There's 2 of these, so I'll get the other one out while I'm at it. Alchemy Index Volume 1 and 2. They're really good. That's how I got introduced to them. They're like 2 6-track EPs on each album sort of thing. So yeah, they're really good. Lots of varied stuff with Thrice. They started off as like a proper angry post-hardcore band with not a lot of variation in what they did. It's okay. It's definitely dated now, the first 2 or 3 albums. And then they hit the stride with the Alchemy Index and they found the sound. And they still had the angry stuff and the energetic stuff. They had the more reflective stuff as well. and just better songwriting in general. They just completely turned a corner, and this album was the zenith of that. To be everywhere is to be nowhere. Such a good album, good lyrics, good songs, good energy. Yeah, just quality album. The first single off this was called Black Honey, which is what I've put in the playlist this week. Yeah, really good, energetic post-rock, post-hardcore song. Bags of hooks, brilliant lyrics. Check it out and love it, and then get this, because this is just such a good album. Yeah, brilliant. So do that. Bit of Thrice, can't go wrong. Right, rattling on as we are doing this week. A new album by one of my favourite bands, Thunder. British rock band par excellence. All the Right Noises. It's a new album. It came out last week before, and it's reached number 3 in the UK mainstream charts, which is just brilliant. And to be fair, it is their best album in maybe 3 or 4 albums. This is the 12th album. They've been on the go since 1990, 91, something like that, when Backstreet Symphony came out, which obviously I put in my thing last week. So yeah, another Thunder returning artist. This album is just so good. I mean, I've got the double deluxe thingy. It's just such a good album. Got really good riffs, really good songs. It is a proper return to form for Thunder. The previous 2 albums, was One Days and Rip It Up, are still good albums, but this knocks the spots off them. Honestly, it does. The track I've put in is the next single from it, which is called You're Gonna Be My Girl. Yeah, really good song, good riff, good lyrics. Luke Morley, who's the main songwriter, has pulled some proper tricks out of the bags to get this album on it, and I love it. It's such a good album. If you like just good hard rock, good bluesy hard rock with good quality riffs, good songs, basically good songs, I can't recommend this enough. Honestly, I love this album, as well as the William the Conqueror one. I think these 2 are gearing up to be my favourite albums of the year so far, and that's saying something. So yeah, and I love the artwork. Look at that, beautiful. Right, so that's Thunder. You're Gonna Be My Girl from All the Right Noises. Wonderful. Right, something a bit more different now, more different than normal, is The Night Watchman. Now, you will have heard of Tom Morello, I'm assuming, but if you haven't, he's the guitarist from Rage Against the Machine and Audioslave and a bunch of other stuff. He's done so much stuff. This was his solo project, Night Watchman, which, researching for this, I've just realised he's done another 3 albums after this. This was the first one he did. I picked this up in a charity shop, and I'd heard of the Night Watchman and just not really got into it. But this is really good. He's got his, and Tom Morello is known, and Rage Against the Machine are known, but for his activist work for political causes and social justice causes, which is all great. And that those things come up in here, the hints of rebellion and personal growth and stuff. The song I've put in is like the lead single from this, called The Road I Must Travel. Great sort of folk rock, activisty sort of song. It's brilliant. And the album as a whole is so good. I can't recommend this one enough either. So you get a full great big list, great big pile of stuff that I highly recommend. And I do highly recommend it. Really good. The Road I Must Travel, One Man's Revolution, California's Dark. Great album. The Road I Must Travel is just the highlight of it. It's just a standout track from this album, but check the rest of the album out if you like the song. I would. Yeah, I would, and I did. So yeah, the last track this week is by The Wedding Present. The Wedding Present were like an 80s alternative band, sort of mid-late 80s, and I've got the single Why Are You Being So Reasonable Now, which I've left over there for some reason. 7 inches are over there, and I've still got that, and it's still such a good song. So yeah, check that out. Why Are You Being So Reasonable Now? Classic Wedding Present song. Aside from that, I didn't really get into a lot of it. I sort of heard a couple of other bits and then didn't bother. Kennedy I bought, which is one of the singles as well. That's pretty good. But they've had a new album out this year, literally, called Lockdown Stripped Back. Obviously recorded in isolation. done stripped back versions of songs from various albums, I think. And I quite like it. It gives it a good treatment. David Gedge, who is the main singer-songwriter and the main focus, and probably the only original remaining member of the band, his vocals are just brilliant, and the lyrics are just very, very clever, very witty, very strange in places. And I put the track Starry Eyed in the playlist. Yeah, I really like it. I like the lyrics. It's sort of, the whole album is sort of acoustic-y and then different, but not as just one track as that makes it sound. There's lots of variation in this album. So yeah, check that out. Check Starry Eyed out. I really like that. If you like that, check Why Are You Being So Reasonable out now as well, because that's really good. Yeah, and that's your 12 tracks for this week. All right, mixed bag. A 12-inch single and 2 cover versions and old stuff and new stuff, and music's just great, isn't it? Music's just brilliant. So I've made a new Richards FM Volume 6 playlist up on Spotify. I'm going to crack on with the YouTube one because I really need to do that. So yeah, I'm doing that. So if you like it, please subscribe, leave me some comments, because then I know what's occurring, whether people like it. If you've got suggestions for songs that I should check out and include in this, please leave comments and let me know, because I'd love to hear new music. We could make this a collaborative thing. Just an idea. That would be great, wouldn't it? You tell me new songs, I'll tell you new songs. It works both ways. See, we can connect by the beauty of YouTube. Wonderful. That'd be great. Right, so that's that. A bit less waffly this week. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you found some music that you like. Please let me know one way or t'other, and I'll see you next week. Have a good week. Take care. All the best.